All right, everybody. Good afternoon. Mr. Mancy is here with your next episode. This one is going to be Hyperspace. This is where we hit a button on our computer keyboard, which will allow us to jump anywhere in this area, possibly to safety or possibly not to safety, depending on, that's a random chance we take when we hit this button. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Um, So the first thing we need to do is go ahead and establish what button we're going to push. So let's go into our edit, project settings. In there we already have fire, we have vertical, we have horizontal. We're going to go ahead and use fire 2 and we're going to rename it right here. And we're going to rename it Hyperspace. Hyperspace. Okay? Remember how you spelled it. All right, we're going to be using our left alternate button or left alternate key, which is located by your spacebar for most of you. Or you can say our H button will be the hyperspace, right? It all depends on what you want to do. I'm going to keep it, and I'm not going to have an alternate button, so I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to keep the left alt button. All right, so that takes care of that. We're now going to go into our player 1. We're going to go to the area where we push buttons, and that is here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to add another statement here, and we're going to look to put it after this destroy. So go ahead and give yourself some room here, and we're going to say if, right, there's an input button, input, I believe it was capital I, input. Okay, and this is going to be dot get button down right there. And what button is that going to be? Well, it's going to be our hyperspace button. So we have to spell it exactly how we did back at our input manager. Okay, and that is it there. So what we're going to do, instead of writing all our code here, we're just going to go ahead and create a whole new function. Okay, so the function is going to look very similar to what we did here. Okay, the respawning, very similar. What we're going to do is go ahead and create the function called hyperspace. Well, at least a link to it for now. And then we're actually going to go ahead and create it here. That's why you're getting your red squiggly line, because we haven't made it yet. Okay, so keep that in mind. Don't worry about that. All right, so we've got to find a space where we're going to go ahead and do that. We can do it after invulnerable. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, under invulnerable. So we're going to create a void hyperspace. And of course we need our brackets, right? All right, so what are we going to put in here? Well, we know we had, where'd it go? So we had our sprite renders and everything here. We had this get component. I think I'm going to do things a little bit differently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create some things up here first. So let's go ahead and do a public. And I'm going to create a rigid sprite render. Sprite render. And I'm going to name it sprite render. Okay, close that out. I'm gonna give me a Collider 2D, make that public also. Collider 2D, and I'm gonna just call this one Collider. Alright, close that out. Save it. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and come here, let this update. Once it updates, I'm going to go ahead and select on player 1. We're going to do a few things here real quick. And then we're going to get back to business and show you what I got planned as soon as this finishes. Guess I'll keep the dead air. Here we go. So we got player 1, no errors. So what we're going to do is we got the sprite render and the collider. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab player 1 and throw the sprite render there and grab player 1. And it's going to grab the collider from player 1 also. Now, usually this will not work if you had multiple colliders, like some projects you do have multiple colliders. This one does not, so we're going to go ahead and stay with this. Okay. What else? All right, let me take a look and see what direction I want to go. All right, so by creating those, we can do some changes and get rid of some of the scripting, right? The first one I'm going to go ahead and get rid of is when collision happens. Okay. So I am going to I'm going to go here, right? And I'm going to delete this portion right here and just say sprite render. Okay. Okay. And then come here to the collider. Collider enabled right there. Okay. Easy peasy. Let me see, where else can I go? Under respawn, I can get rid of this now because I don't need to call it anymore. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And then here will be my sprite render. And also here will be my sprite render. All right. All right, I forgot we had this one here too, so you can go all the way there and just type in collider. And then this one got the sprite render. Okay. All right. Let me hit save here real quick. Let me make sure I got everything that I needed to. All right, so I was checking to make sure we had taken care of all of them. So what we're looking for is when it is false, right? Because we're going to turn off when we do hyperspace. So we're going to go ahead and copy and paste these two right here. Copy, and we're going to paste them right there, which is Control V. All right. All right. You know what? I think I want to do this differently. So let's go ahead and cut this. I'm sorry, folks. My brain's getting it little by little. And let's do it up here when we hit the button. Okay, let me see. So I call it, I hit hyperspace. Let's make some room here. So what I'm going to do is paste them here. Okay, so when I hit the hyperspace button, it's going to turn them off. And instead of this, I'm going to go ahead and invoke it. I'm going to invoke, and I'm going to invoke hyperspace. So all right, close parentheses. And how long should I invoke it? Well, hyperspace happens pretty quick, so I'm just going to say 1 second. Okay, or 1F. All right, and that should take care of the jump. Okay, we're just going to have to tell it where to land now. Okay, let me see. I think that looks good. So let's, yeah, okay. Push the button, turn off, invoke the hyperspace. It's going to jump this direction, and now I have to put something here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring them back here, right? So let's copy these, okay? And then let's put them down here. And V, and instead of false, we're going to say true this time, right? Because we want them to come back to life, or come back with this collider and everything on. Okay. That looks good so far. All right, let me see. So we hit the button, we turn invisible, we jump to hyperspace, we invoke it, we want to turn it true, but we haven't made the jump, so we need to make an area. Okay, we got to tell it it's a new position, so it's a vector 2 position, right? So it's vector 2, and it'll be new position. New position. And this new position is going to equal to new vector 2. Okay, now this is where it gets a little tricky. You're just going to have to get a random range. Random dot range. Okay, and now we got to tell it what that random range is going to be. So we need to go to Unity. So let's go ahead and go to Unity. Go ahead and save it, and let's go to Unity. All right, so we need to get some numbers. I like to use my move tool, keep it nice and simple. So I want to go to the edge, but I don't want to go too far to the edge. I want to give myself at least, a little smidgen of room there. I definitely don't want to go outside. I don't want hyperspace outside. So right around here, let me see what we got there. My X is 16. We'll say 1630. How about that? 1630. Left and right. Negative 1630 left and right. And my Y from the top is about an 8. We'll say 8.5. Okay? 8.5. So 16.5 and 8.5. Okay? 16.5 and 8.5. So let's go back to our scripto.
Type of an idea, random dot range. So it's gonna.
So negative 16.5 is my X, negative, and we'll make those floats. And my right limit, it'll be 16.5 on the positive. And again, that'll be a float. And then I come outside my parentheses, hit the comma, give myself another set of parentheses, and this is going to be for my y, which we said will be negative 8.5, along with positive 8.5. Okay, I did forget to do something here. After you do this comma here, I forgot to do random range again. Random dot range. Okay, that's for the y. And we got to close out the main parentheses. Oh, I forgot to put F. That's why. I was wondering why is it doing that. There it is. Okay. So now we have the F's. All right. I think we are good. Let me double check my coding. All right. So one last thing I think I forgot. Yes. So we told it, hey, we want you to do this, but we didn't tell it to execute it yet. So we need to go ahead and do a transform dot position. Transform. Oh, misspelled it. Dots position. And the new position is going to be equal to new position. Equal to new position. Right there. All right. So, one thing I am noticing is that when you are hyperspaced, I want to go ahead and create some type of cooldown. If not, you guys will be hyperspacing the whole time and avoid playing the game. And we don't want that. That's going to be like what you guys call, oh, I broke the game. No, you didn't. You just got away with something we didn't create. So we're going to go ahead and come up here to the hyperspace area. So we're going to create something here. So there's no, we're going to kind of like temporarily shut this off until you come back. Okay, is what I'm thinking of doing. So let me think this through real quick. All right, so I think I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to make a true or false statement also with hyperspace. So let me come up here, and here's fine. So this one's going to be private bool, and this one I'm going to just go ahead and call hyperspace. And then what's going to happen is we're going to say either it's true or it's false, and we're going to go ahead and be able to shut it down, right? So at the beginning of the game, our hyperspace is going to be false. Alright, so when we hit the button, we are going to be hyperspace true. And then when we come back in, go ahead and turn it off again. So hyperspace will equal false. Pretty simple little thing. This might give you some help with that laser one that I challenged y'all with. Alright, so now that we have established the parameters of false and true, we're going to go ahead and come up here to where we hit the button, and we're going to add another condition to it. So if get button is hyperspace, but we're also going to add the and, so that means both of these things have to be true. I'm going to say hyperspace. Hyperspace equals true. I'm sorry. Has to be. Nope, that's right. Has to be true. Sorry, meant false. All right, that makes more sense. So, if input get button down hyperspace and hyperspace equals false, then you should be able to push the button. If it's true, which means you're in hyperspace, it's not going to let you to push the button. All right, that's one way to write it. But there's another one. Another way. All you have to do is put an exclamation point up in the front, and this will allow it to also see it as false. Okay, so that's quick and easy. Let's save this code and let me review it real quick. I'll be right back. All right, so I think I covered everything. All we got to do now is save. Let's test it out. Fingers crossed. See if it works. All right, and again, like I said, it's a gamble when you hit the hyperspace, and the hyperspace again is the left alt button for me. If you want to use your H button, that's fine too, or any other button. Maybe like if you're a WASD player, maybe the Q will be your hyperspace. It's entirely up to you. Okay, so let's test it out. And right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and hit it when it gets ready to go. All right. Looks like it's working. And again, you're taking a chance on where it's going to drop you off at. It could drop you right off on top of that big rock right there. So you just got to be careful with it. All right. Looks good. All right. So if you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to ask. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you want to on the video. And that is all I have for you. The next one will be, let me see, hyperspace, and we will be doing alien spaceships next. Okay, have a good day.